Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey. And this journey is going to start with a yap sesh. I'm going to make an intro, basically, that I'll put at the beginning of all of the readings. Honestly, because I just cannot repeat myself 12 or 24 times. My throat and body refuse. So anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna put the timestamp in the description. So if you're just kind of like you can fast forward to when the reading actually starts. And it's actually kind of funny. Like I keep stutter. It's actually like I have a lot of energy in my body, and it's like it's all trying to come out at one time, and it's like making me stutter. I've had to redo this video. This is the fourth time so far, because it's like my mind goes faster than my mouth, and then I'm like confused. I'm like, wait, what am I saying versus like what am I thinking? Like, they're just like not lining up, which is interesting. Like there is actually a new moon in Sagittarius tomorrow, which is actually right on top of my Neptune. So maybe that's why. And it's a sixth house. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I'll find a way to blame astrology for anything. So I'm hoping now that I said that out loud and that I got that energy out of me, that I can just kind of like ground myself and get through this so that we can get on to the readings. So I don't know what I've already said already, but I will put the timestamp in the description so you can fast forward to when the reading actually starts. The first thing that I want to yap about, or that I want to share with you, is that I've decided, it's like I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks, but I haven't actually said it out loud. So it like keeps coming out weird, but whatever, like, well, it'll come out right at some point. But there's an offering that I want to extend to you. It's a 2-card spread, or a 2-card draw. The first card is the door, which is, the obstacle, the path, the, thing that you're coming up against, the opportunity, whatever, that type of thing. All the things that we think about when we think doors, right? It's either opening, closing, anywhere in between. It's something to also like step through and have curiosity around. And then the second card is going to be the key, which is the guidance or advice for how to move through it. And it will be written, and it'll be $3.33. Basically, how it will work is that you will Venmo me $3.33 and provide your email address in the description. And if you don't feel comfortable putting your email address in the description, I will provide my email address, and you can send me a screenshot of the payment. And then, of course, I'll have your email address to respond to. I'm trying to make it like as least complicated as possible. And I think that like if you make the thing private, then nobody else will see your information anyway. It'll be obviously just between me and you. So anyway, $3.33. It's a 2-card spread. Once I receive your, notification of your Venmo, then I'll shuffle the cards. I'll pull 2 cards for you, and I'll write down basically like what comes to me. And literally anything that does come to me. So there's not necessarily like a limit on how long or short it's going to be. I do intend to get those back to you within 24 to 48 hours, or shorter than that. I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of a buffer there. And I'm going to be offering these for basically as long as it feels good, like for as long as the energy is there. So I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment, or you can reach out to me as well through email. Like I'll have my email in the description. Instagram works too. But yeah, so that's the most important part. I'm glad I actually got it out this time, though, and I'm trusting that it makes sense. The other thing for this reading, we're going to be doing a what is ending and what is beginning. And I was kind of like stewing or whatever, with the thought of doing 2026 readings. And I was just kind of like it just didn't feel quite right. Like, I don't want to do like a 12-month overview, because who remembers that? Like, who remembers that? I couldn't even tell you if what I heard or saw like in any of the year ahead readings that like I listened to or watched for 2025, right? So I don't want to spend a lot of time or even like dedicate a lot of time to going month by month. So then I was like, well, I could just maybe do just a general spread, what's coming, what's going, like what's going to be the overall vibe. That didn't quite feel. Anyway, it finally came to me last night that I'm sure you've probably heard in multiple places that 2025 is a 9-year, which is completion, right? And with that means that 2026 is a 1-year, which is obviously a new beginning. So it's, about clearing out cycles, what cycle is truly coming to an end, and what are we now, I want to say blossoming into, which is interesting. Like blossom never like crossed my mind, but it's like, what are we now I almost kind of like, I keep getting this image of like a waterfall of, it's literally just cycling into the next thing. Like it doesn't necessarily even feel like a big stop and a big start. But it's almost just like that, the natural progression or even transition. Like, what are we transitioning into? And I also, whoops, mother of pearl. I looked up like what were the last 9s and 1 years, right? So the last 1 year would have been 2017. And let me just give you an example for myself, because I also think it's really cool to just reflect on where you are, where you were, and also even just to kind of have like dates ish, or in this case, years, like, to think back to 2017, for instance, which was a 1 year. And what was going on for you in 2017, but also what was going on for you in 2016, because that would have been a 9-year, right? And for me, in 2016, I got married. I'm pretty sure I got married during a Venus retrograde, which is not good. And and I want to say maybe a Pisces eclipse. I want to say, I can't remember for sure, but whatever, that was 2016. In 2017, I left that marriage. I put down my soul dog, the dog that like grew up with me, basically, kind of, I got her when I was, I think I was 19 when I got her. And when I put her down, I was 30 something. I'm like, what's dang it, I keep hitting the wrong button. That is so annoying. Let's see. I can't do math that fast. 34. In 2017. I was actually 33. I had to put her down in April. My birthday was in May. And actually, 5 days after my birthday is when I separated from my husband. And then a week after that is when I moved out. Didn't look back. I moved 3 times. Let me see. 1, 2, 3 times within 6 months. I moved into the place that I've been in since then. Like, so I've been here for the last 8 years, 9, however long, however long that's been. And yeah. So that was my 2016 and 17 actually too, which is interesting, is that going back even further, 2008 would have been the previous 1 year. And in 2008, I got my first like college degree. I got an associate's in graphic design. I got my first like real adult job, which was terrible, but I was independent, on my own with that. And then, so, that would have been a 1 year. I got that degree. I got that job. I can't remember if like anything else major happened that year. I don't think so. I might have moved like closer to that job. I just can't remember if it was that year or the following year. But also, okay, so 2008 would have been a 1 year. Then 2016 was a 9 year, which would have ended, that cycle. And in 2016, I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. So it's just kind of interesting how, within that period of time, I got like 2 degrees and also like really officially ended my college or, like continuing education or higher education career, basically, because I don't think I would go back I've thought about going back for like, like an ultrasound technician or like x-rays or, something like that. But I just don't think I can. So anyway, it's interesting, so yeah, I mean, this is also an invitation for you to just kind of reflect and, where are you now? Where have you been? Did anything major happen in those years? The 1 year prior to 2008 would have been 1999, which is kind of funny because there was like that whole Y2K, kind of thing that was like happening around that time. I mean, obviously that was, the year 2000, but it was like the freaking out, also Prince has a song, 1999, hello. The prior one would have been 1990, and then 1981, 1972, 1963. So basically, subtract 9 from there or add 9, whatever. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to look back and also even just to like kind of welcome in a fresh beginning and to recognize too, like where you are, and maybe there are patterns or relationships, behaviors, thoughts, jobs, careers, whatever, that you have released or healed, from, and that's creating the energy or allowing the energy for you to move forward, and like I said, like transition into something new. And also, like, I don't know if it is just me or if it's like a collective thing of feeling ready for it. Like, I think I mentioned maybe the curiosity thing, which I think curiosity also breeds excitement. Just like being open, trusting ourselves, really just staying connected to our own truth. So, I haven't quite like necessarily figured out what the spread is going to look like. I think what we're going to do is pull some cards for like what is completed. Maybe I should write this down. So one pile, what's completed or ending. It's not even like leaving. I think completed is a good word. And then pile 2 is what's I keep wanting to like write starting, like what's starting. But again, it doesn't feel like a stop start. And I just cannot think of the word that, like, I mean, transition is like coming through, but it's like, what is another word? And like, do we look up the thesaurus? What's unfolding? Taking shape. Coming into focus, maybe. Activating. Okay. I mean, we'll see what words end up finding their way in, like, once I'm shuffling the cards. But like, what are we, like, I keep also wanting to say like falling into, because like I was saying, I keep seeing this like waterfall. Which also like feels very Fool card. Taking that leap, going with the flow, trusting. Also even just the water thing with intuition, and even like trusting like those big emotions. And I'm thinking even too, like the actual waterfall part, right, where it's the water actually falling. That to me almost kind of feels like the transition part, right? Because it's kind of like there's a direction that the water is heading into, right? But there's not necessarily control of it either. There's a direction and trust. Like, so honestly, I even fucking love that. Wow. I think these readings are actually going to be beautiful, and I'm really excited to get into it. And also, I just want to say, how cute is this effing tarot bag, dude? I'm going to put the Etsy shop of the girl who creates these in the description as well. She has 3 different sizes of these. I only have this size, but I have 3 or 4 of these all in different fabrics, but this one holds like this size of a tarot deck, but it'll hold a larger one. Like it's almost like oracle deck size. But look at the, you can choose 2 different fabrics. I'll keep a deck in there, and then I'll keep a selenite wand in there also, which is, it's like perfect. There's a clip, oh, I'm obsessed with these. And they're not just necessarily for tarot decks, but also, like it holds its shape. Like, bro, look at this. So cute. So anyway, we're using the Light Seer Tarot because honestly, like this is probably like my all-time favorite deck. And I'm also so glad that it said yes to me to do these readings, because before every reading I do, for YouTube readings, I'll ask, do you want to do all of the readings? Because you got to do them all. But I shuffle the deck and either a yes card comes out or a no card. And I honor that, because we're all about consent over here. So anyway, I'm so glad that the Light Seers Tarot agreed to do these readings for us, because again, like I think that they're going to be beautiful. And I think that's all that I want to say for now. So let's jump into the reading. Great. So this is a reading for Scorpio, wherever Scorpio is in your chart. We are going to look at 2 different things. If you watch the intro, I explained it there, but on the left side here, we're going to have what you mastered in 2025. And then on the right side, we'll have some cards for what is unfolding in 2026. So for Scorpio, I don't take the cards that flip because, cards have to come out. We have the 7 of Wands, the Strength card, and the 4 of Wands. All this fire over here. And then what is unfolding for Scorpio? Whoop. I'm like, I got kind of confused like for a second. For Scorpio. What is unfolding? We have the Ace of Swords. Oh my gosh, we have the Ace of Cups. Come on. 6 of Wands. Bro, and the 9 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, although I haven't been reading the bottom of the deck. But I did for Libra. Let me make sure. Let's see. Let's move these over a little bit. Gorgeous. But yeah, I did for Libra. And actually it would have been kind of hilarious if both sets of cards came out at the same time, because that's what happened with Libra. 3 cards came out for the, 2025, and then 3 cards came out at the same time for, 2026. So that would have been hilarious, but anyway, this is so lovely. Also, I feel like the Libra reading was like really fucking clear. I feel like your guys' reading is too. Like what I was feeling as I was like shuffling for over here and I'm like staring at these cards, I really feel like you put yourself out there. I really feel like in 2025, you were brave And, maybe you did some shit that, like you maybe wouldn't have done in 2024 or 2023, whatever, And I also think that it involved other people. I think maybe you made some friends. I think maybe you found like different communities that you feel good in. I also think that like you had to push yourself a little bit to do that. And I think you also felt very protected through the whole experience. This really does have this feeling of feeling like really secure in yourself. Maybe even like protecting your energy too. Like, sure, you're out there, doing things. Like I met a lovely Scorpio rising who was doing a hot air balloon ride solo, just like I was. Like we met, I think it was in September, and we both like just kind of decided to sign up for a hot air balloon ride one day. So, it's like that type of bravery and, just like meeting people and even if you were doing things by yourself, but, in whatever aspect that is, like for you, obviously it doesn't have to be like bungee jumping or, like jumping out of a plane or, so it doesn't have to be like an extreme thing like that, but like maybe just, going to concerts or shows or groups, clubs, that you have an interest in, and maybe too that you had been looking for or craving community or like connection in some aspect. All this fire over here too, like there was a lot of motivation. I mean, maybe you have a lot of fire in your chart. I mean, obviously you don't have to, but yeah, it's interesting that it's the Seven of Wands that came out first, and we can see that they're in this bubble, right? And then there's these seven wands down here that are, this one is like practically poking it. So yeah, I mean, it really does feel like there was a real big energy. It doesn't even have to be, because as soon as I said that, it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a big energy, but just a desire to get out of your bubble, to get out of your comfort zone, to get out there and have conversations, to be around like-minded people, or just like have conversations. And I also believe that made you feel more confident, and it gave you the confidence to like continue, like to continue trying. Maybe you were like looking into other things that you have an interest in, because you're like, wow, I tried this thing and it worked out this way. There's this other thing that I've been wanting to try, or I've had an interest in. So maybe I'll sign up for that, or I'll look into that. Because I love with this strength card, which is Leo, and maybe too, like this really kind of started picking up around Leo season, like in, like during the summer, but, and especially too, like when it was like hot outside and the sun was shining and, but what I love about this strength card, and I love that it's like in the middle of these two cards, is that traditionally the strength card has a lion on it and then a person, right? Like they're two separate beings. But in this card, like she is transforming into the lion. But still, like with this lamb down here, like there's still like a timid or like maybe even like shy. Like it's still there, right? Like I mean it's still even like if you are an introvert, right? Like obviously that's not necessarily something that's going to change, but it's like accepting that but also putting yourself out there. And maybe too like that like your understanding of whether whatever it is, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, like whichever, or some blend of the two, right? um Maybe like you're understanding that a bit better and learning to, or have learned to navigate that. There are so many birds in this tree outside right now. Like, I don't know if, I mean, I have bird feeders and stuff, but I'm like, I don't know if I've seen this many birds. And they're all just like yapping away. And, and it's interesting that, first of all, that's like happening while like we're talking about, um, what we're talking about, but it really like it's like reminding me of like some sort of acceptance, like just seeing yourself as part of a collective, as part of a whole. um and that doesn't cause anxiety or fear or insecurity. And now there's a squirrel that just showed up. Also, like me and my dog were out for a walk yesterday morning, and there was this one tree, big ass tree, and there's like 6 squirrels in this tree, just frolicking around. I don't think I've ever seen that many squirrels in one place, let alone like in the same tree. But anyway, also too, in the 7 of Swords, or Seven of Wands, um, they're the only person that's in there, right? But again, like that's your comfort zone or your bubble. Literally, there's like literally a bubble around her, right? And then over here, there's 2 people. I mean, the 4 of Wands is a card of celebration. It says that the actions that you have taken have led you to a place of security and stability, and also too like the people who have helped you get there. There's like a unity, or a union aspect to it, because it's sometimes, I mean, like I know people usually see it as like a marriage card, but I mean, even if we're talking marriage, maybe you got married, maybe you opened yourself to the possibility. But even if we're talking marriage, it's like it's just the coming together of 2 people, right? It's merging 2 lives legally into one. It's also, finding the, what is the word? It literally just left my head. Um, finding the... It's like not the reason, the benefit. Jesus Christ. Like finding the benefit of that. Maybe there isn't one. I mean, listen, I will never be married again unless it's for money. But yeah. Even, like the vibe of this person, right? Like they have their head turned, just not interested at all. And then this strength card to me is like, again, really pulling on your bravery. I do think that it does take bravery and courage to put yourself, like to literally get yourself out of your comfort zone and your own personal bubble. And also too, like it's fine to go back to it. Like it's gonna be there. You don't have to pop the bubble completely, like you put yourself out there, do the things that motivate you or that excite you. Maybe you make new friends, you make new connections, you put yourself in and too, like putting yourself into spaces where there is excitement and fun, and that just helps you, even like, it fills your cup. It lights your fire too. But everybody is like doing the same thing, right? Like everybody's torch is getting lit. And maybe even like being choosy of what those spaces are. I love that. Over here, I think this is so amazing. We have 2 aces and the 6 of wands. Come on. Come on. What is also, kind of interesting here is that it's, swords is about our mind, our mindset, our belief systems, ideas, perspective. Ego is in there. Stories, that become our beliefs. Hello, babies. Hello, boys. Hello, boys. Cups are about our emotions, how we feel about ourselves, about our lives, about the people in our lives, love, our relationship to love, how do we give it, but more importantly, how do we receive it? What fills your cup? Is your cup full? Like where is the where's the level like on your cup? I love like this little like staircase here. There's this heart image like at their heart chakra. So there, whatever it is that happened in 2025, that again, that you mastered here, and like by putting yourself out there, by exchanging energy even, right? Like that's like kind of what I was talking about, right? Like your torch getting lit, everybody else's torches getting lit too. There's some sort of perspective shift here, and also how you feel about possibility. Like, I can put myself out there without completely draining myself. or, like completely having to protect myself. I need to grab some water. Hang on. Okay. All of a sudden it felt like I have a hair in my throat. But yeah, you could even be having a different perspective of how you perceive these things, like how they live in your mind. Like instead of thinking that you want to stay in your comfort zone because it's comfortable, you think, I can come and go as I please. If I need my cup filled, I can do that in a way that it does fill my cup and it's not draining. And I have these spaces now that feel good, and I feel recognized. I feel accepted. I do feel, like a sense of community there. Also, too, it's like one of those things of it being something that maybe you have desired for a period of time, and maybe it's also something that you have tried or like attempted in the past, and it just for whatever reason didn't work out. Or also too, like maybe the spaces or the things that you have tried this year just didn't exist. I think it's also too, like, the people in those spaces, like they maybe didn't find the same thing or have the same desire to get out and do whatever until this year as well. So it's just kind of like a timing thing, like just, right time, right place, like just things coming together, multiple people making decisions that kind of lead them to the same-ish, like destination type of thing. Like that's divine timing, It could even be like sharing ideas, sharing, your feelings on things. And again, because I can't remember, of course, if I've already like said this, but allowing yourself to be seen, putting yourself out there, and literally like even showing up authentically, because it's like one thing to put yourself out there, right? It's another thing to like be yourself. Because we think we're going to be judged, or it's like all this shit that's only in our minds, but there's a shift happening with that, and I also love that it's the mind and the heart, those two things coming into alignment, and those are the things that are going to motivate you forward. Trusting yourself, just if you like something, do it. If you try it and you don't like it, okay, don't do it, right? Like it's like almost like, kind of having a detachment, but still having the curiosity and just like going with the flow. And I've always wanted to try roller skating or something, and you try it and you're like, that was a ton of fun, or that sucked, like, but you did it, And maybe you find people too that like, maybe you guys, oh my gosh, like in 2011, my friend and I had this list. It was, we did it for like, all of 2011. And I think we each had 100 things that we wanted to try in 2011. And most of them were experiences. Some of them were like adopting a I can't remember like exactly what it's called now, but like adopting a child like in like in a another country. I can't remember what that's called now, but and then like I mean we would also like we would do those things together, most of them. And especially like if there were things on both of our lists, because inevitably like there was overlap, on our lists. But like there were things that she wanted to try. I would try them with her. There were things that I wanted to try. She would try them with me. Obviously if things overlapped, then we would do them together. There were like a couple things that we both chose like specifically for the other person. Like, like try that. Like she, wanted me to try kickboxing. So, that was on her list for Liz to take a kickboxing class with her, which I did. It was fun. And for her, because like we were living in Vegas at the time. Oh my gosh, now, okay, there's 3 blue jays out there, and now this northern flicker woodpecker just showed up. I really do think that like you are going to like be meeting just different types of people, but like they are all gonna mesh really well together. And not that they have to. It's not like obviously like everybody that has to hang out at the same time, but it's like um there's a bunch of pigeons. Like um yeah, I mean, I don't think I've even seen that many blue jays back here. Loud ass blue jays. So anyway, yeah, yeah, and I don't know. I mean, that might be fun for you to do, but if not, it's just an example. It's like, like finding people, or connecting with people that, again, like they want to try stuff too. Like they're kind of sick of just not, like they want to get out of their comfort zone too. They'll come out of their bubble every once in a while. um I love that. I love this. Gorgeous. I want to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.